Our staycation road trip takes us to our nation's capital, home of the White House, those beautiful springtime cherry blossoms. But more importantly, Washington, D.C. is where 57 years ago today, one man's dream inspired generations. The question is, where does that dream stand today? August 28, 1963, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom brought 250,000 people to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his historic I Have a Dream speech. We've been given the opportunity to connect with Dr. Clarence Jones, who helped compose Dr. King's iconic words. Given the state of the world today, we asked Dr. Jones if he would change anything he wrote in that original speech 57 years ago.
I would remind him of the extraordinary advances in technology. I would remind him the fundamental economic condition of the overwhelming majority of black and the fundamental political condition with respect to the experiences which they continue to endure in police brutality. They continue. And the only significant difference is because of the access to technology, majority of the population, they now see what we experience and we're talking about. They now see, for the first time, the nakedness, the sheer brutality of police force used in our community. The upside is that now, because of the technology, more people, an overwhelming majority of non-black people in America, now see with their own eyes examples of some of the worst instances of racism that we've endured and described. And that, Dr. King, was applaud, because what you have done while we sought to redeem the soul of America in 1963, you were able to enlarge the scope of our redemption so that it now far exceeds our percentage in the population, so that it now has become an understood moral mantra for a majority of persons in our country when they can say, Black Lives Matter.
Even after sharing his initial thoughts, Dr. Jones continued to think about how he would revise those treasured words and reach back out to share his rewrite of the first few lines. You could find those words on the web. Dr. Jones also appeared in our most recent Next 20 episode with Chief Strategy Officer Rima Qureshi and V-Teamer Kayla Garner, sharing more on what he's learned as a leader on the front lines of the civil rights movement. If you missed it, check it out on Twitter at VZUpToSpeed. No staycation trip is complete, of course, without a featured local artist. Farah Skykey is a photographer, creative director, musician, and writer from Washington, D.C. Her photography focuses on movement, and she strives to always use her powers for good.
My name is Farah Skykey, and I'm a photographer and creative director in Washington, D.C. My work is a lot about movement, physical movement, movement of bodies, movement of people, and lately a lot of it is about movements in general, people taking action, protesting, finding themselves moved by a cause. My photo style is high contrast, action-packed. I really spend a lot of time with the bands that I photograph, and a big part of my photography is the crowd. Like, my favorite photos are the ones where you can't tell who's part of the band and who's part of the crowd, because at a certain point it all kind of meshes together, and that's really my favorite kind of photo. I got started probably when I was 16 or 17. I got really excited about photographing everything and kind of documenting everything. I was photographing a lot of friends' bands, and that was the bulk of how I started. And at a certain point, I got a little gutsier with where I took my camera and what I tried to pull off. And I've been doing it ever since. Building trust with the communities that I photograph, whether it's punk bands or drag queens or even my neighbors, is really important because it makes everybody feel their best about the situation. And when people are feeling their best, you're going to make the best photos. The body of work that I'm most proud of is one that I released as a book recently, and it's a collection of DC punk and DIY band photos from the last 5 years. Amazing music is made here all the time, and this book is a testament to that. The March on Washington coming up has definitely been on my radar. And right now during COVID, we all have to consider how we're interacting with outside spaces and things like that. It's a really difficult time to want to participate and want to physically show up and use your voice and support others in their journeys to make change. People are coming from all different corners of the country and really risking their safety and health in the time of COVID to be there. It's really important to center the Black organizers, the Black protesters, the Black photographers, the people who are creating the story, and the people who are telling the story, and not just making it about you getting your cool shot, but how are you actually supporting this movement and the people who are front and center in it. DC is not just a place for politics. I remind people that this is a place where creativity happens, where art happens, where there is really rich culture. It is really important making sure the rest of the country and the rest of the world understand us.
A compilation of Farah's photos are featured in her new book. Retweet this episode with the hashtag Verizon Staycation Road Trip, and a few of our lucky followers will receive a copy of Present Tense DC Punk and DIY right now. Send that tweet and spread the word about our local DC artist. Finally, we're encouraging everyone to participate in our virtual March on Washington happening today, noon Eastern. V-Teamers, make sure to sign up on our volunteer portal and help us take one step forward together in pursuit of our collective dream for greater equality. So wherever you are today, take a moment to retrace Dr. King's steps and continue to do the work towards making his dream a reality.